My Unbelievable. My studio is falling apart here.
It sounds exactly like this production.
Oh my god. Welcome. Take it away. Take it away.
Welcome to the Flake Lab, also known as Karri's fading life and studio.
Henrik, are you a cat or a dog person?
Most definitely a dog person, because cats are piece of shit animals, as evident in today's film.
Yeah, this is the great example why you should be a dog person. Definitely this freaked the hell out of me when I saw this as a kid. I remember when we had the first cat in the family, my mom bought it, and I was waking up somewhere in the middle of the night. I think it was 3 a.m. or something, and I was going to school the next day, and I wake up to the fact that on my stomach is standing a fucking cat staring at me. And that didn't help at all, because I had seen Uninvited before that.
and then the cat proceeds to start puking out another cat.
Exactly.
Like that's how cats multiply. They just vomit more cats.
Speaking of multiplying cats, this time we're going to look at Uninvited from 1988, which is most often said to be one of the worst horror films ever. But I don't know about that, Henrik. I had some good time here.
Yeah, these like good times and being a good movie are kind of they can be two different things, as is case in today's scenario, where in fact the movie is quite a piece of shit, but it's extremely entertaining piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at that and how much actually are cats in this cat film.
Well, basically just two. Like that's the answer to your question. There are two cats in this film.
Is that so? Like you're saying, actual live cats, living cats?
Well, just one. Because
I count the other cat only as a puppet. In my notes it says puppet.
Yeah, but what about the weird vomit cat?
The one that drinks alcohol or is behind the glasses. That's one version.
You completely lost me. God damn it. Like we are talking about stupid 80s horror film, and I'm already lost.
Okay, it's not that complicated, Henry. Well,
I took that this film is some kind of a philosophical masterpiece that you have to dissect like we do in the Flake Lab.
Yeah, isn't it?
It most definitely is.
But I was referring to the scene where the cat makes its first appearance to absolutely pretty much everyone, and the cat is being shot at, but the cat is behind some glasses or bottles, or what could be like wine bottles, and it's kind of avoiding the gunshots, and yeah.
Oh yeah, the shit goblin cat moment.
the moment where the cat smiles. Permanent smile.
Oh my god, that was retarded as hell.
But yeah, before we jump into the film, do we have anything on the background of the film? I happen to know that we are...
background? So somebody had a little bit money and a film camera and way too much time in their hands, and this is the end result.
Well, there's that, but they also had Gulager on their hands. Revisiting this podcast.
Revisiting this podcast, being like Gulager, who we first met here in Flake Lab, when we looked at Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, where Gulager was assaulted by a canary or
exactly.
a parrot. Well, whatever it was, some small bird. And in here we once again meet Gulager, and this time he's assaulted by a cat, showing you that even domesticated household pets hate Gulager. And that serves the bastard absolutely right for Freddy's Revenge. Like even the cat here is taking revenge for Freddy's Revenge. So there's your high class horror films, man.
Oh well, Henrik, how did you come across this masterful piece of entertainment?
I actually originally came across this one completely by accident.
Same.
I was strolling down cheap VHSs which were sold at the local video store for like €1, or it was the time of the previous currency, so 1 mark or something like that. And it didn't even look at the back cover. Just saw that there's some nonsense on the front cover and just bought it, for the hell of it.
Does it have the hologram cover? Is it the VHS?
No, it doesn't. It of course might be that it's the Finnish printing, so we didn't get any of the nice stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember where I got my VHS actually, because it happened so that I actually saw this film originally when once again my extremely dangerous grandmother was renting this film for me from Makuni or something similar that was in Malmi. Yeah, and we watched this film. And then, was it like 15 years later when I had this Kauhuinu Night of the Horrors event, I thought that, well, what the hell, I remember it being extremely scary, so it must be good, so at least for laughs we have to have this film back for our horror night.
Okay.
And I bought it from the United States, Amazon or whatever, so it has this hologram cat in the front of the ship or something like that.
Okay, because I wasn't actually completely sure why you were so hard pressed for us to actually visit this film on the podcast. I was actually quite sure that the reason why you wanted for us to watch this was that you simply had seen the title and you thought that this was a documentary about your social life.
It could be, with this pace of doing this podcast, and I thought it would be like a welcome break in between what we have been doing lately, like Promised Land and License to Kill.
This most definitely was a welcomed break, at least on my end. But with that out of the mind, or out of the way, anyone who turns up listening to this episode about really obscure 80s horror film, I really don't feel like doing a typical The Flick Lab episode like today. Like this doesn't, to me, this ain't a film that kind of is the type of movie that we goes through the Flick Lab treatment, because there really is not enough film and enough stuff in it to actually merit any kind of a deep analysis, because there's nothing to fucking analyze in this one. So I on my end, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open the cold one.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
What? Wait.
And I'm gonna just, for this one, I'm gonna just sit back and shoot the shit for rest of the episode, because this most definitely is a film that you actually you sit down on some night when you just wanna hang out with friends, you wanna watch some shitty horror films and drink beer.
Must be kind of a shock treatment for our listeners, because we actually have been watching quite a lot of quality stuff lately, and mostly.
Yeah. Today, fear not, dear listeners. Today we are not dealing with any kind of obscure foreign African art house art cinema.
Like if you ever wanted to hear as unscripted as possible, this is probably the episode to tune into.
This may also be the most rambling one.
All right. So sometimes this is called a horror film, but actually it's quite accurate depiction of cats. So
it's most definitely it's a very clear depiction of cats.
I don't know if I'm even sorry, cat owners, but my experience of cats is just not very good.
My experience of cat owners is not really good.
Henrik, would it be kind of a hybrid type of a... I don't know what we're doing here, but anyway.
I don't know, but I have been asking that same question for the entire run of this podcast. What are we doing here? Why am I here? What is this? What is Audacity? How does the computers work?
this is going to be anyway the moment when I'm going to press the space bar and roll the film, and but I'm not gonna be very scene by scene in this episode for your listening pleasure.
No, because there really is not that many actually important scenes to cover. Like to give anyone a rough synopsis what the film is about. It's about criminal business who wants to go wherever. Like were they heading Macau or Bahamas? They were heading to Bahamas with suitcases full of money. And criminal business gets two girls into the boat, which they are using for travel, to work as a cover for the Coast Guard. Like if Coast Guard would pull their boat next to the evil business boat, evil business would just immediately go like, I'm just your regular sleazy porn lord, and what I have in my boat is prostitutes and coke, and the Coast Guard would be like, it's okay as long as you just don't have suitcases full of money. There's no reason to inspect your suspicious yacht. But unfortunately for criminal business, the two girls, they ask 3 complete randos to come with them onto the boat, and the randos are, for some reason, they are allowed on board. And most definitely, one of them, was it Suzanne, who picks a garbage cat that has mouthful of pussy, and like that's the goddamn film. Like after that, they and the garbage cat, they are on a boat.
Absolutely, and also had some kind of a sticker or like a tag in the leg or somewhere in the body parts or in the body, and it has not been shown before. I definitely didn't see it, but no, apparently this lady has just taken some random lab animal into the boat without further thought.
Which she found from, I don't know, like some kind of a locker or trash unit, like.
Yeah.
And the dude next to her is like, well, with this, according to this tag, it's a lab animal that has been used in animal testing, so we don't know what it has been spiked up full with. So it might carry like I don't know, a atomic plague or something like that. And they still take it on board with them. Because, of course, why wouldn't you?
Or evil blood, for which you need a biologist, so thank God them for having it on and having that guy on board.
Yeah, was it a biology or was it psychology? Because the captain of the boat can't stay consistent on which one it actually was.
At the end of the film, I was...
At the end of the film, there's a notorious fumbling of the words.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And at the end of the film, I was really not sure if the 2 people who survived this boat trip are actually the 2 smartest people on boat. You know, you have the biologist, but the biologist is just spewing some complete nonsense about the cat.
The biology guy manages to somehow figure out that all the food is poisoned because he finds random crumblets of food around the boat.
Yeah, what the hell was this sextant thing? He's going to be taking a closer look with a sextant. And you can see blood cells.
You can see multiplying blood cells. Must be a mutation. Equals the food is poisoned.
Oh. Anyway, Henrik, we start this film with a full shot of a hospital or some kind of a whatever.
It's some kind of a high-rise building, and you have no idea where we are.
Yeah, just to wrap it all up, so the cat is there and the idiot scientists are holding the cat, but not long enough, and the cat runs away easily and goes past doors, and one guy's even holding the door open, like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, like to be super secret animal testing facility, like these are the worst guys when it comes to any kind of a security. They noticed from the X-ray that there's something inside the cat, and they deduct that it might be cancer, so they decide to dissect the cat to see what the hell it is. Or what the cat is carrying inside of it. And first of all, they don't put it to sleep before they actually take it to the operating table. They don't hold it correctly, and they don't even close the fucking door.
No, and they keep opening doors inside the facility. And after that, the doctor goes like, "Give me that gun, I'll take care of this."
Yeah.
From the guard. We see a shadow of the cat, like somebody's probably doing like shadows with the hand,
Yeah, it looks like shadow puppets.
Right, shadow puppets. Yeah, we have a plethora of puppets here.
There are, because almost right in the next scene, the scientist is being attacked by hand puppet.
Okay, what's next? We are introduced to the girls, these bimbos, total bimbos. Do you have the names, or is it that important? One of them is Suzanne.
One of them is Suzanne. The blonde one is Suzanne, and the brown-haired one was Bobby. Yeah, played by Shari, Shattuck, and Claire Karri, who both have done some obscure things. Claire has been in not ocean movies, Smoking Aces, what was it, Las Vegas Hitman movie, and done some Stargate, NCIS, and other television work like that.
What about this businessman? Do we have anything on those?
Well, actually, when it comes to the three older gentlemen, like when it comes to the criminal business in the film, it's fought by George Kennedy, who is the grunted fat man, and then there is Alex Cord, who is the porn lord, and then there is Gulager, and who basically is Gulager, but
But George Kennedy may be the best known for his role in Cool Hand Luke. One of those, I think he's a pretty good actor, actually. But the fact is that the director of the film is maybe not the creme de la creme of directors, and this leads into very weird shots and continuation errors.
I kind of have the feeling that this might have been the time period in George Kennedy's career when he was kind of slobbing around in films.
Well, you think?
That's just a theory that I came up with when watching this one.
And of course, Gulager. I mean, I like the guy, but it's completely something directorial where they have messed up this moment where they bring this one young dude to the boat and he's going on all about like SSC or something.
It's actually I never actually figured out which one was it. Was it FCC or SSCC?
Okay, whatever. But this guy is very concerned about this fact that the authorities would get them soon because they have robbed a bunch of money from a big corporation, as I understand it.
Or something. They have suitcases full of cash which they have to get to Bahamas for reasons.
Of course, because there's more money in Bahamas. Makes sense.
Because the authorities just can't call the bank in Bahamas and be like, don't give money to criminal business.
I have no idea.
I have no idea, but they are on time limit. They have to get Bahamas fast.
Yeah, they're on time limit, and this young guy who is very concerned about the authorities. Somehow they deduct that this guy is a security risk for us, and we have to kill this guy.
like George Kennedy, like the guy says that he doesn't feel comfortable with the situation. Like there's a lot of risks because they are soon under investigation by FCC or SCC or whatever the fuck. And George Kennedy immediately deducts that the dude is trying to blackmail the criminal business.
Right.
And they drown the young guy on a pool that exists on the yacht.
Yeah, while they're holding a pistol or revolver, handgun. Anyway, this is a very well researched episode, but no biggie.
Well, and the dude doing the drowning starts to have a heart attack all of a sudden, and criminal business just like clean this shit up and get rid of that body which weighs like a ton.
And when it comes to this Gulager, he's there. I believe he's holding the gun, and he is having this smile while the rich businessman is saying something like we are going to shoot you. That's gonna happen to you. And Gulager is like, yeah, I can't wait. And then when the guy is actually dead, Gulager looks very concerned, like shocked.
Like what the fuck were you thinking? Like, what did you think will happen when you drown a guy? Like,
right.
He wasn't supposed to die. I was just I thought you were gonna drown him nicely.
I'm not gonna put any blame on Gulager here. Like, it's a director just is shooting the shit. The bimbos are now, walking around and trying to get some other bimbo guys to join them on this cruise ship because the ladies got to know these rich people in the hotel.
More importantly, at some point, two ladies have found somewhere, they have found clothes that have not gone through with a lawnmower. That's an important plot point because the quality of the film kind of notches a little after that moment.
Yeah, the bimbos find company and they are going to take them on board with the rich guy.
Yeah, they're going to ask. This is the moment when the girls ask 3 complete randos to come into another guy's boat, completely uninvited, which cleverly actually ties into the name of the film.
That's not the biggest problem. Like, the biggest problem here is, well, it's not a problem. Apparently this rich guy is someone very famous, and they are very honored and happy and excited to come on this boat. So there are not only the bimbos. Several factors why you should join this fucked up cruise, even though Gulager was friendly enough to go tell to these rich guys while the rest of the boat crew are in attendance that basically we have to leave now because the cops are going to get us soon.
Yeah, or at least Tom Cruise risky business recognizes that the criminal business is Wall Street Walter or something Walter. Like that.
And nobody raises an eyebrow, really. They just look a little bit disappointed. Oh, it's some kind of a money scheme. But anyway, let's join the crew and have some party time.
Yeah. And by this point, the girls have brought the cat with them.
Can we talk about the audio editing mixing here already?
Oh my god, can we ever? Because the fucking cat never shuts up. Like, the cat is a goddamn ventriloquist. It meows even when its lips are not moving.
Not only that, but they have like 2 audio clips of the cat meowing. The exact same clips.
Yeah.
Like, they were thinking nobody would actually notice this.
Yeah, and the mewing is constant. Like whenever the cat is in premises. Whenever the cat is on the boat, which it cannot leave, it constantly just meows. It's like it's all the time in the background. Whether you see the cat in the picture or not, it still is like the same meow. You just constantly hear. And it was driving me nuts.
While we are at this random scene decapitation mode, there is this moment where before the cat gets into the harbor, the cat is somewhere along the road and then is looking to hitch a ride. So we have 2 criminals who punch some dude so they can get a car, and somehow the director decided that this is really important to show that there are 2 criminals, and I guess that kind of, makes it okay that the cat jumps on board and kills them. Maybe that was what he was looking for, I don't know. Everybody's so evil in this film. I actually kind of like the boys. They are, okay.
I fucking hated the guys.
Okay.
I couldn't stand the little pricks. I was full on board with George Kennedy, who just hated the youngsters.
Yeah. But, they were the least annoying, maybe, of the bunch. Of course, there's the biologist and the smart girl.
I don't know. I really couldn't stand the guys. Most especially, I couldn't stand risky business.
But case in point, all the annoying guys are killed off by this cat.
Yeah, that goes. Unfortunately, also George Kennedy is being killed by the cat. Like that's just something that you can't forgive.
Well, the guy was totally out of control, you know.
What do you mean the guy was complete? The George Kennedy is the most in control guy in the film.
Yeah, until he starts shooting with a handgun. This one guy who has done absolutely nothing.
Well, come on, the guy was being an annoying shit. I was hoping for George Kennedy to score some headshots on that moment.
Well, apparently the cat doesn't very much like handguns and then appears and, kills basically George Kennedy. So, there's the party time. Somewhere along the lines, Gulager gets a little bit drunk in the helm. They assume that he has dropped overboard, but of course the cat has been having some fun time. Once again, in a horror film, we have this extremely cliche, let me just drink myself into a condition where I don't understand almost anything. I'm all alone, I have left the helm, and now is the perfect time to introduce some puppetry. The puppet is so obvious.
It is. Like in many of the attack scenes, you can actually see the puppeteer's arm in the shot.
Oh, you could. Well, it's clear that something is controlling it from behind. That's for sure.
Yeah, and like this film has actually a Blu-ray release where
yeah.
I believe the image has been cleared. It's more high definition. Which I hope means that you get more arm in that version.
I hope also that they didn't digitally kind of a little remaster these puppet scenes to get the puppet guy out of the picture. That would be against what this movie is all about. You have to leave it all.
It would be cutting out one of the best actors of the film.
Yeah, what was the puppeteer called in the end credits? Re-recording by Densmore Recording. Production makeup, Mike Spatola. What the hell, dude? And then there's a special visual cat. Yeah, that's how it's...
Which can just be the puppet and the designer of the puppet.
Yeah, but you can't write puppet, You have to write special visual cat. No animal was mistreated during the filming of this motion picture, except puppets.
Mm-hmm.
This kitchen scene, there's a lot of scenes that are kind of exceptionally hot, don't you think? Like, these bimbos are totally going for it. Like, there's no brain usage needed.
I at least was completely going on with the film on that scene.
Me too, weirdly enough. There's also the scene where it gets kind of hot when there's this this guy that has some kind of a birthmark on the neck or something, and they're almost getting it on, but of course the goddamn puppet has to ruin the moment.
You mean the scene when the barf cat is gnawing on the guy's hand?
Exactly that.
Yeah. Although in the cat's credits, I did kind of appreciate how casually the cat was gnawing on those fingers. On that moment, like it was completely random.
Oh dear. Looks like the cat gets some kind of horns when it turns into evil mode.
Looks like the whole design of the cat kind of changes when it turns into evil mode.
I know, and I was supposed to mention this one, that when I was watching this, I remember for the first time as a kid when I saw it that, well, it goes for any shitty horror movie, or a horror movie that kind of had cheap or low-end effects, where you could see that it was a puppet or something not human. You, as a kid, kind of always would justify it to yourself why this happens. Of course, my natural explanation, of course, was that it kind of mutates way beyond the original cat and then becomes something else and becomes the scary cat. There's something demonic shit going on there. And actually, that's why I think some horror films of the 80s are kind of scary, because the antagonist changes so much in appearance. It's rather disturbing to the mind because you can't quite handle it. I think as an adult it can be kind of creepy as well, because it doesn't make sense. It's this effect that some people speak of, like, which would happen if you would see in a bar, this stripper who is talking about, I don't know, advanced physics.
Why the hell would a stripper in a bar be talking about advanced physics?
I know, that's the point, because these two parts don't fit at all, so it's making you scared, because...
I don't know, I would believe that I would be intrigued on that moment. I was just trying to wrap my head around the situation, why it's happening.
Henrik would totally fall for it. Okay.
But seriously, in this film, that effect really is a strong one, because the cat most definitely changes in every way whenever the barf cat kind of starts its attack. Like, yeah, you get those close-ups on the cat inside of the cat's mouth, and it's this really tiny, wrinkly little thing, and then you see the cat puppet attack sequences, and the cat is like, it's even larger than the real cat. Like, it grows in size, and it becomes completely mangled with its hair, and it's like there is no goddamn consistency in any way between the, between the quote-unquote normal cat and the weird barf cat.
But Henrik, at least there is something here. The idea is good about like an evil mutant cat on a boat.
That pukes another cat. And that cat is a killer of the film. No, that's
Why not?
Not a good. That's not a good idea. That's a shitty idea. That's a laughable idea. Nobody can take that one seriously, except maybe Karri.
Well, leaving aside that cat that comes outside of a cat. Well, let's say if you have a killer cat on boat, I'm completely on board with that idea.
No, I wouldn't. I've seen kind of a more serious killer cat film. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, was it a segment in
those mini adventures? It was like a film that had 3 stories or something, like Tales of the Dark Side.
Yeah, and one of the stories was that weird lady who was gargoyle or some kind of a monster.
Right.
But and there was that weird mummy segment. But yeah, anthology horror film, and one of those individual stories was about this stray cat that gets adopted by a rich ass family, and then the cat kind of causes accidents around the house, this way killing the family members one by one. Until the last surviving member actually hires a hitman to shoot the cat. And then there is the battle of wits between the hitman and the cat. And the cat wins the hitman, who is armed with a gun. Like that is kind of the same scenario of Uninvited. Like in very overall nature. Like both films are about killer cat.
Right.
And neither one of them was in any way scary.
But Henrik, in this extremely consistent episode, I have to backpedal and go into the discussion of the audio editing, because the funniest of all was, of course, the moment when the cat attacks the car with the 2 carjackers, and then the car falls off the bridge, kind of before the bridge.
Oh my god! Yeah, but yeah, and they had that sound effect of breaking glass.
Yeah, like 20 times in a row. Same.
20 times, and it's it's almost like they can't let the effect actually, play to the end before they restart it again. Like the effect is going on mid-swing, and it starts all over again, like on cue. It's almost like they have one button. And they have recorded this effect behind the button, and they just keep pressing on the button.
I could even argue that like part of the track of the audio was done so that somebody was just live mixing there, like pushing buttons, like you said.
That could very much be like I can immediately see that happening in the production of the film. And also like, the car, after it goes off the road, it goes over so many times that there even ain't enough windows on the car to then be intact anymore on that time.
Exactly. And overall, you just listen to the audio track. You hear somebody speaking, there's a lot of noise in the background, and then it switches to the other guy speaking, and the noise is gone.
Oh my god, is there ever?
Yeah, this is like a demo. Nobody has kind of mixed it.
Nobody has any kind of control, and nobody makes any effort to clean the audio track.
At all. And when these youngsters are dancing to the music, also the music just sounds exactly like that it was just pasted on the audio track, and nobody gave it any kind of reverb or anything like that. It's so playback.
Yeah, the audio track itself, when you hear it in the film, it's like one verse repeated all over and over and over again. Like you don't get the feeling that even the song is progressing in any way.
I kind of like some things about the Uninvited theme, but then you notice that it's not going anywhere. It's just like about kind of a legendary. What about if we could talk about the moment when, is it Suzanne now, who is in her room and kind of hungry, and then she thinks that the cat is going to get her, and somebody's clearly just making this meow sound, and she's like, oh, don't come. So,
yeah.
Oh my god, that could never. And why did he do that? Like, it's not funny even if you would completely know what is going on.
Yeah, you're going to pretend the one thing that is psychotic killer that is on the boat with you.
Yeah, which leads to sexy time.
Yeah, which is kind of like those asshole kids in those Halloween films who started to cosplay as Michael Myers.
Got a phone number? Yeah.
And then they were so fucking surprised when the cops almost shot them.
Yeah, no man, we were just kidding.
Yeah, this is the kind of the exact same fucking stunt, except now the guy is mimicking the barf cat.
Yeah. Then of course this same lady loses all hope in one scene. We are all gonna die. This scene, but they have some champagne supplies, so they can have that while they are screaming. No problemo. And what is this? Somebody wants to drink something. Like, oh, there's this champagne, but we gotta save it, because drinking champagne is going to be very beneficial to keep your water levels normalized.
Yeah, because alcohol in no way causes the drying effect inside your body.
No, never happened.
Yeah.
Then there's the stupid talk about whose fault is it that the cat is on board. Like, why is that really important? It's definitely not my fault. I would say it was definitely the girl that was talking about it. It was definitely her fault. She was pushing it all the way. But then the blame is put on another guy.
To me that was kind of the character building moment of the film. Like part of almost the entire reason why Suzanne goes crazy at the end of the film is the fact that she feels guilty for bringing the cat on the boat.
Yeah.
And what they are trying to do on that moment is that the biologist is taking the fault or saying that it was his fault just so that Suzanne can keep her shit together.
And then there is this moment when this other guy goes below the deck and uses the handgun to try to shoot the bastard cat, but only ends up shooting some kind of a steamer or something, and of course gets it onto his face, and cat is completely fine. And
apparently, I guess he punctures also a hole in the hull of the boat.
Which I was going to get to, which is in no way explained in this film further, but looks like the ship is sinking, so I'm connecting that to that.
I was too. I was too. Like the sinking of the ship happens kind of randomly in the film. That there is a long stretch of time, or long quotation marks. You never actually get any clear idea what is the timeline of the film, like how long they are trapped on the boat, how many days, like could be weeks, could be 3 days, hard to say. But yeah, the risky business shoots a hole on the hull of the boat, and the boat starts or I guess the boat starts taking in water, and then everybody just forgets the whole thing.
Right.
And then they rediscover that there's a hole on the hull of the boat and it's leaking water. And then they again forget the problem. And then all of a sudden it cuts into the middle of a storm, and now they are trying to escape the sinking ship.
You gotta also love the way that they're trying to drag this on to 1 hour and 30 minutes just by the fact that oh, look, now the engine is busted, so we're going to try to fix it for the next 30 minutes for you, or however long it was.
Yeah, or how forced the whole, oh my god, the engine is busted as a plot device was.
Yeah.
Like almost all the problems that the group faces in the film would have been avoided if not the engine would have busted.
And what the hell is this when George Kennedy, right? He has some kind of extrusions in his stomach and then he dies and then they throw him away. Like, they were just looking at those, alien-like extrusions, like no problem. This happens every day when somebody dies.
Yeah. When George Kennedy's stomach kind of starts to bulb, almost like in the original Alien, when the alien kind of bursts out.
I didn't remember what was going to happen here, but I was also convinced that, okay, now it's going to burst another cat who is inside a cat.
Yeah, I was also expecting that moment to happen. That didn't happen, though. George Kennedy dies before anything as graphic could happen. But yeah, there was a kind of the weird moment when that is going on, and everybody just, leans in closer to George Kennedy to get really good look at what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, and the best course of action to get rid of all kinds of evidence and not be taken into custody, the best way is to just throw the body overboard.
Yeah, just dump the body overboard.
Problem solved.
Because that is something that nobody's going to ask for when you finally reach ashore and meet the authorities.
Well, which they don't. There's just some random captain who says like, oh, kids, I mean, this story about the cats, it's really something. You must have gone through a lot, so that's never happened. But, kiddos, everything's fine.
I don't know. I took it that was supposed to be like a police officer or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, the officer is like, okay, too bad. A bunch of dead people, blood on the boat.
But a bunch of dead people. I don't believe your story about a mutant killer cat on a boat. But I can believe that there is a bunch of unexplained dead bodies laying on the ocean, and I'm just letting you off.
Maybe he was like, oh, I don't believe that anyone died anywhere, and there's no evidence, and I think we were just having a little bit of a boat cruise out there.
Yeah. So thank you for wasting authorities' time by coming up with this fake story about all these horrible deaths.
But in fact, the guy and the girl are absolutely right that the officer has been extremely helpful. They have, I don't know, like $1 million in cash in that bag, and the guy just lets them go, like nothing.
Yeah, and makes no further questions concerning their story.
And remember when the police officer will tell you that, oh, Henrik, you have been through such rough times lately, but I don't know, this cat story, I think you can just go. Just remember to be extremely grateful for that advice.
Yeah. I can believe you have been through rough times because there's like 5 bodies in your wake, and I don't believe your cat story. But I can believe you've seen some death which goes completely unexplained because I don't buy your story, man. There's nothing further to ask from you. You are free to go.
Absolutely, and actually this miniature shots of the boat in the dark. You can almost go with those when they're in the dark, but in the when it's storming outside and it sinks, like looks like something I would be having in my bathtub as a 7-year-old.
Yeah, it does. The fact that it's a children's toy It's a children's toy boat. Comes extremely clear to you.
Of course, looking at the ending, somehow there is now a different cat, a completely different cat, and somehow that is extremely ominous when the little boy picks it up and...
Oh yeah, and that ham-fisted kind of a close-up of the boy.
That ham-fisted moment, the freezed frame, where it looks like he's looking up to the director, like, okay, was this good?
I'm not sure which one we were supposed to be afraid of. the barf cat or the obviously demonically possessed kid. Like, which one is the bad guy on that freeze frame?
The demonic sound mixing.
Or that final confrontation between the two survivors and the barf cat when they are escaping the boat with the lifeboat, and you can clearly see, and the cat kind of flies through the air. You can clearly see that somebody is just throwing the cat puppet at them, and they keep doing it. Like they throw the cat puppet at the duo. And they throw the cat puppet overboard, and then all of a sudden the biologist guy just yells, "It's not over yet," and the cat flies again.
Yeah, of course, the mutant cat spewing mutant cats was just not enough. You have to have a mutant cat spewing mutant cats that flies.
Yeah, that flies. Which looks exactly like somebody is throwing around a cat.
Yeah, no. Animals were treated completely fine. Well, if you look at the actual cat, the cat looks very pissed off in at least 2 or 3 shots.
The cat looks like that it does not wanna be on the boat.
In no way.
Every time they are holding the cat, it's all the time it's wriggling and trying to escape, trying to get away from the person that's holding it. And it actually looks pretty pissed when it's on the interior shots inside the boat.
Yeah, like when it's about to kill Gulager, for example.
For example, it looks very much like the cat would like to be everywhere else except in this film. The barf cat itself is trying to escape the movie, which it is headlining.
And the way to get such of emotions out of a cat is just really to piss the cat off quite a bit. So at least cats were pissed off during the filming.
Well, I don't know. If I would be a cat, I guess I would be pissed off too. If this would have been the movie where I would have to appear.
At one point, the rich guy is locked downstairs and is trying to bribe the cute guy with 1 million, and golden dialogue follows.
But it actually works. Like evil business manages to bribe risky business with $1 million.
Not only that, but is it after that scene that they go look for the cat is it in the engine room?
Yeah, in the engine room.
And then the guy is like, "Oh man, I trust you now so much, so I will just give you the gun."
Yeah, but
nothing actually follows after that, like him taking the control over the guy never happens.
No, I mean the two businesses make a deal.
Suddenly he's very trustworthy.
Well, wouldn't you trust a murderous businessman who has porn mustache?
With all my life, and keep him
with all my
back.
life. Here, please, sir, take my gun. Or the goddamn fat ass cat when it breaks into the food storage and opens every single package that is there of the twinkling rations that they have on board.
Yeah, they have that Kellogg's cornflakes moment there.
Yeah.
And cling their glasses for the dead cat. I mean, this is a pretty weird film. Any other irrational moments?
I guess that one moment when Suzanne poisons herself when she eats the poisoned food.
That, or when the other girl drops overboard with the other guy who has been bitten.
Yeah, that also was...
Never surfaces.
What the hell? Seriously. Like, by that point, they have established that if you get bitten by the cat, or scratched by the cat, you have been poisoned and you will die a horrible, painful death.
Yeah.
So the cat has been numbing on the guy's fingers. So obviously the dude now is poisoned. Like the guy is completely correct that he has poison in his veins. And that means, as we saw with George Kennedy, that means that you are going to go through some horrible, painful mutations, and there's going to be an alien moment. And it's gonna hurt like hell. So he decides to throw himself overboard and just be done with it, die quickly and relatively painlessly. And all of a sudden, the lady Bobby runs to him and starts to yell at him how he shouldn't jump and he should just stay on a boat and die painfully from the poison. Like, what the dick? Seriously.
Then there is this cute guy who has now gotten the part of the money and is bragging about it to, is it Suzanne, during their sexy moment. If you want to be protected, you'd better just stick with me. Ew. But apparently that works for her. And she doesn't even question, like, what is this big thing that is coming up for you?
Yeah, in no way. And in no way actually questions how risky business is supposed to protect her. Like, what is he supposed to do to keep her from... What is he supposed to do to keep her safe from the cat?
Yep.
And as we see from the poison food moment, when Susan eats the crumpets that the cat has poisoned, apparently fucking nothing.
God, this guy is completely destroying the boat, like shooting into pipes and this steamer and everything else except the cat.
Yeah, it's the goddamn Alien Covenant moment of this film. The dude goes around shooting his gun all over the place and just, completely wrecks the ship.
I especially like this moment where it seems that the mutant is going inside the other cat and it looks like the kind of actual cat's eyes are getting some LED lights put on, or so it seems.
Yeah, I never figured out what the hell that was supposed to be all about.
Evil mutant cat.
Yeah, but does the barf cat come alive when the evil mutant cat crawls back inside of its mouth?
Yeah, and then becomes smaller in size to look normal.
Yeah.
Of course, there is the mega cliche moment. Oh, let me just get this one more item from the back of the boat, so then we can go. And the idiot doesn't take the briefcase. Well, does, and then just keeps standing there and watching this great show that the cat is putting on. Jesus.
Yeah. So evil business manages to grab the last suitcase full of money. Like he has like 5 suitcases or something like that inside the safe that he has on the boat. And he has already gotten most of the briefcases, but there's just one last briefcase he has to go and fetch, and he manages to grab that one also. And could just leave the room, and then he sees that the barf cat starts to puke out the evil mutant cat. And evil business, instead of running away, like leaving the room immediately, he just stands there and stares at the barf cat. Jesus Christ.
But here we see the actual consequences of getting a cat on your ship.
Yeah, this is kind of a. I mean, I would go as far as say that this film is at least a half a documentary about being a cat owner.
I would just say if they would replace it with the mutant dog. I mean,
Yeah. In that case, nothing bad would have happened. Because the dog is a man's best friend. Like, the dog would have been there to protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it has to be a cat. Like, this is what... Here you see what you get with cats.
Or puppets, for that matter. A sunken ship.
I don't know. But with puppets, you just get the reimagined Third Reich. Because the puppets by default are typically Nazis.
I enjoyed this moment when they have gotten to the lifeboat, and now the cat, of course, makes a return, and they're like, Oh, let's throw this $1 million at the cat. Oh, no, wait, here's my fast
wait,
brain
no, wait.
action.
Yeah.
Let's remove this money first. Oh, good idea.
Yeah, you fucking idiot, right? Let's first put the money on the shuffle bag and then throw the briefcase.
Which is the moment where you at least will question the intelligence of these two people as well.
Well, you will question the intelligence of the guy. I mean, the woman, the captain is doing all the thinking and all the logical stuff here on this moment.
Yeah, she keeps her integrity.
Mm-hmm. Then again, the dude was a biologist, so what can you expect?
I don't know, man. I think that's the Uninvited.
yeah. Well, is there a plot point that we haven't covered? Like sure, we were completely out of order and we were all over the place, but we did mention every major plot point of the film.
Yeah, so just to give a wrap up, you have the first act, we introduce the characters, and then we get to the ship and we get to the second act, which is kind of takes in its entirety place in the boat.
It's the moment when George Kennedy dies, unfortunately. and then there's the third act.
It's a film that happens on the boat. Take it away, Henrik. Favorite scene?
It would be the cat jumping at the two at the end when they are on the lifeboat. Like the flying cat. That was quite priceless.
Yeah, I have to go with that. Looking at the last shot at the cat, chilling on the briefcase.
yeah, the pissed off cat.
The happy puppet cat.
It looks a lot, kind of like it's thinking, yo motherfuckers.
Favorite performance?
That one, without a question, or it's kind of a tie between George Kennedy and the cat's hand puppeteer. But in the end, the hand puppeteer takes this one. Like standout performance. But cat puppet has never looked so much like a cat puppet as in this film.
I liked how George Kennedy was the opposing force in the film. Kind of steel-faced voice of reason, to an extent.
Well, at what point wasn't he the reason? Or the voice of reason?
Well, he had the voice of reason, he just had the irrational voice of a pistol.
Come on. That kid deserved to be shot.
No.
It was justified. It was justified by being irritating.
Maybe this little stitch that he got there was inviting the uninvited and caused the actual death scene of this guy. You know, imagine if he would not have been shot with the pistol in the first place, then they would have been going on throughout the whole sex scene in this film.
Are you trying to imply that George Kennedy is kind of the unsung hero of the film?
No, the guy is such a villain.
Sure, it didn't go exactly according to plan, but George Kennedy still, by proxy, did manage to get that guy killed. And good riddance is what all I have to say on that matter.
One mention has to be made also at the last gunshot that he does, that he shoots completely randomly, like almost hitting one of his criminal friends.
Yep. Or the moment when he's trying to fire at the cat.
Yeah.
And he basically shoots every booze bottle except the cat. Like he manages to hit every single thing in the room except the cat.
Could have just shot the puppeteer in the first place. What's our next category, Henrik?
Would that be favorite quote?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, this one I have to give to George Kennedy and the man's wise words. Young ports are a pain in the ass. All ports are a pain in the ass.
I will go with, I promise this darling little kitty won't be causing you any trouble.
Yeah, and the fucking bastard cat then goes and kills everybody and sinks the ship.
What's next?
Oh, favorite kill. Come on. This is this is the film where we actually can full well use the category.
Yeah, finally. Justified.
Yeah, it has been awkward for so many goddamn movies.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are.
Well. I think that would kind of be George Kennedy's half alien death.
Okay, because I just felt sorry for George Kennedy. In my end, it's Gulager once again getting mauled by a household pet.
Poor guy. What's next?
Random confusing question.
So, Henrik, feel like having some kind of a party time on a boat and sing I'm on a boat, motherfucker. With a cat.
Well, most definitely not with a cat.
Anything else than a cat.
Well, if you can get a couple of bimbos that have been going through a bushwhacker.
Let me see what I can do. What's next? First image that comes to my beautiful mind.
To me, it's the shit gobbling cat. When George Kennedy is trying to shoot a mutate cat, and there's that moment when the cat is standing on top of the TV or what bar table it's supposed to be, and there are the bottles in front of it, and you can see the cat smiling.
I would take from the same scene the shot when the cat is behind the wine or champagne bottles. Awesome moment.
What took me out?
The interrupted sex scene with the guy who jumps off the boat.
I don't know, I wasn't bothered by that. Of course the situation was helped by the fact that I really didn't like the guy. I hated the character. I hated the three males altogether. But I still kind of like, sure, you could have seen more skin had the scene advanced from there, but there still is some merit in seeing the cat eating the guy's fingers. On my end, I really didn't have that much of anything that would have pulled me out of the film.
Interestingly, like, we're dealing with like a, I don't know, C-grade horror film. Nevertheless, we were on board.
Yeah, I mean, the case is, the film is not good in any stretch of the word. This is a bad film, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this is not an entertaining film.
Yeah, funnily enough, I also have seen that the IMDb rating of this film has slightly gone up after around the Blu-ray and DVD releases. People have found a newfound appreciation, maybe.
Today, this film has kind of a cult status as something that is so bad it's good. It stands on 4.4 on IMDb, and I guess it's the director's Greydon Clark's most highly rated film on IMDb.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So what put you in?
Well, you know, there's only one right answer to this, and that's the mutant cat, especially when flying.
I would say even more correct answer would be the cat puppet jumping the scientist at the parking hall at the very beginning of the film.
Good material. I kind of like the vibe of the colors, the whole mood of the parking lot stuff. It starts pretty well.
And then it goes completely haywire once they get inside the boat. Like then it starts to be kind of uncontrollably all over the place. Much like, for example, the sound editing, which constantly picks up weird interference and background noises and the kind of a post-edit added meowing of the cat in every single image.
And weird kind of side stories, like the two bad guys who take over the poor guy's truck and then get killed immediately. Was it needed? The cat could have just incognito taken a ride and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like the car attack scene doesn't actually serve any kind of a narrative purpose.
No.
It does show you the puppeteer's hand for the first time. Like that's what it does. But other than that, there is really nothing to gain from that scene.
No. Except, the breaking glass sound effect 20 times.
The goddamn budget was so tight that they just couldn't get another sound effect. Like two sound effects, breaking glass and the meowing were the only sound effects they could afford.
You're going to have the upper hand with the quickies here once again, because I still am about to install some applications again, because I installed this wonderful thing that is Mac OS Catalina, and it's been pretty much a hell of a lot of problems.
Serves you right for using a Mac.
I can understand the developers who are leaving to the Windows side after this update. Jeez. But what's the next category? Henry.
It would be Scissors of Sacrilege.
What would I change in the film?
I would have more George Kennedy and Gulager. Especially George Kennedy. Like, goddamn, that man is gone way too soon.
Yeah.
The entire film could have just been, George Kennedy against a bar of cat.
I wouldn't change a thing, because this is a cult classic. This is supposed to be as shit as it is.
It's cult classic only because of ironic movie hipsters who have made this a cult film in the last something like 4 or 5 years.
I can't believe my luck that I saw this before it had the cult status that it now enjoys.
Yeah, we saw this film before it became mainstream.
Right.
Which means that today, when everybody else is liking this, we can actually hate it and still feel cool.
I bought it on VHS well before this mass fandom and was a bitch to find, I can tell you that.
Yeah, this wasn't in an easy to find in your local video store. It wasn't on the shelf right next to Schindler's List.
But okay, I could give another answer to this, maybe slightly more in a serious tone. The film takes quite a time before it kicks in. When they enter the boat, it takes kind of a long time before the whole thing kicks in with the George Kennedy getting bitten into the boot.
It does. Now that you mention it, that there's a lot of scenes about them partying and just having random discussions which in the end does not lead anywhere.
And neither do the inserted random cat trolling around the ship shots.
Yeah, and the fucking meowing. Like, that's something that I would cut out of the film. Because, by God, was it driving me nuts. So, you really know you are watching Uninvited when?
When the movie sinks as bad as the boat.
You really know you are watching Uninvited when you have a mouthful of pussy. And by that I mean cat. You filthy pervert.
Of course you do.
Of course. What were you thinking? Okay, so your 3 adjectives to describe the film.
Meowy.
Oh my god.
Hilarious, of course. And quite entertaining, actually.
It is. Like, it's many things, but at least it's not dreadfully boring. On my end, I also have meowing, because god damn if the cat does not shut the fuck up. But it's also fun and it's also stupid.
Yeah.
But did you check your watch while watching this one?
Oh no, I didn't have time. I was typing at the time when I was watching this film. The schedule was a little bit tight, so I did all of my notes on one go.
What? God damn it, this is your schedule, man. Like,
yeah, well,
see, here you see where it leads us when we try to do 2 episodes a week. Like, this is why you don't do that.
I'm still saved by my ability to type perfectly fine without watching the keyboard, so...
You're perfectly fine of taking notes of the film without actually watching the film.
I did. In all its glory.
But yeah, I didn't check my watch either.
Yeah.
This was kind of a fun times altogether.
Yeah, there were moments of genuine laughter. I remember laughing at the end when the toy ship is sinking.
It would have been like the only thing that would have made that scene better would have been if there would have been the Titanic score playing behind on the background during that moment.
Now that you mention it, there is quite funny 80s synth music here every now and then. Like the happy music inserted when they leave the cat with the briefcase floating there. This is good fun.
But is it good enough fun enough for you to recommend the film?
I would recommend this film. Like, you have to watch this film. I mean, it's not one of the worst. It's not even one of the completely worst horror films of all time.
It's pretty bad though.
It's pretty bad though. Even with all this, technical difficulties of this film, it's entertaining enough that you should watch it. But would you need to watch it for like cinematic qualities or some kind of a fiestas? Like, would you watch this after Schindler's List? I don't think so. Would you watch this as a good film? I don't think so. You watch it for the laughs because it's so bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of a torn with this one. Like I do recommend it, but it's not a glowing recommendation. It's kind of a barf cat out of 10 movie for me. First of all, this is not a good film.
No.
This is a bad movie by all merits. But it being a bad movie doesn't mean that it's not entertaining. And this is entertaining, yeah. Hence the recommendation. This is something that if you gather around a group of friends and you have your chips and you have your beers and you just wanna watch a stupid film, this is okay decision to go with. That being out of the way, there are still bad movies that are even funnier than this one. There are bad movies that even manage to say something more than what Uninvited does. So, like, there are bad movies that actually has a real message. And and Uninvited, like, I guess at this point it's apparent from this episode, Uninvited does not have any message. It doesn't have any deep themes or anything that you actually can analyze. But there are bad movies that do have those qualities. So when it comes to watching bad movies, Uninvited would not be my first recommendation, but it still is quite good pick for your lying on couch with friends, drinking beer, eating chips, watching bad C-grade horror movies movie night.
Yeah, and while you're munching and gulping down those carbohydrates, you just have to admit that this is entertaining enough. It's really bad. You watch it for its badness, but it also keeps itself going fast enough that you can go with it. Running only 90 minutes, so it's worth your time in the end if you're into these kind of things.
Yeah, maybe not actually spend actual money into the film. Maybe not buy the Blu-ray into your collection.
Yeah, so just rent it from your friend.
Yeah, just rent it from your friend. But like if this comes to you in a streaming service, in that case, it's okay pick for the night when you are watching like 3 or 4 more horror films.
Or since Christmas time is approaching, what the hell? Bite the bullet, buy the Blu-ray from Amazon, and wrap it up as a Christmas gift for your girlfriend who likes cats.
because that's a one way to actually end a relationship. Merry Christmas, here's a shitty B horror movie.
It's make it or break it situation. Like, if she enjoys it, though.
Then you can start have a serious chat with her. Is there something wrong with you?
Yeah, or maybe this is the moment to start a serious and a successful relationship. Okay, that was Uninvited.
I guess that was Uninvited. Like there is nothing more to say about the film.
You were right. This film doesn't really deserve a closer scene by scene analysis, really, because
because what are you going to analyze?
Well,
like the only message you can actually get from the film is that evil business is evil. Well, fucking surprised there. Or that unethical animal testing is wrong. Like no shit.
And so is irritating cats on a boat while you're filming.
Yeah. Well, that might be actually the deepest meaning of the film. Cats are bullshit pets and should not be tolerated. Buy a dog.
But yeah, there is some other life lessons in this film, Henrik.
Yeah, birds are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and the fact that when you take a look at the end credits, you just have to face it. The fact that even if you're doing a shitty 80s horror film, you have to have an enormous crew to actually pull it off. So yeah.
Yeah, because even producing shit takes quite a lot of people. I guess that was that. Like, back to the regular, more serious program in the next week.
Which will contain an analysis of a movie.
Well, most likely some boring highbrow art house stuff once again.
I'm going to go sniffing some cat sand now and trip on ashwagandha. See you next week.
Yeah, I'm also out of beers, so until next week. This was Uninvited.
What was this the first beer that you have had in this show after the Halloween 3 Millers?
This actually might be my first beer, because after Halloween 3 Millers, I switched back into more hard liquors and wine. Goddamn beer, I've been missing you.
Keep it up, sir.